This is from the desk of Dr. Penelope Birdfeathers.
I did not notice who they came for first. Eventually, they came for my children. There is before us a perversion of leadership that is more accurately called grooming, a manipulation that would be described as ham-fisted at best, were it not for the fact that its ham-fisted nature is its defining feature and the disarming secret of its profound effectiveness. On all of us, the grooming by the malignantly corrupt is confused with the leadership of the person of integrity. When it starts, we may not see it. It may be an off-the-cuff comment, a brief crossing of a violation, presented as locker room talk, barroom banter, a joke. Just. A joke, as the word just is a hypnotic suggestion, disarming the vile rhetoric it precedes. Each utterance grants permission for the next, each step an advance further, moving fast but slowly. A snake that approaches its prey, never in a straight line. Eventually, the grooming crosses a threshold, and we are either repulsed or taken in. We each reach this point at a different time. Sometimes we only reach one point, sometimes both, but at different times. If we are lucky enough to awaken. I remember when Trump pushed the birther issue with Obama. This was when I noticed he moved, in my mind anyway, beyond a sleazy celebrity whose only claim to fame, as I could see it, was his shallow arrogance. Mostly, he struck me as just a wealthy and entitled little dick of a man. As George W. Bush might say, I misunderestimated him. The performance of wealthy no talent shifted as he demanded that a birth certificate be shown, presenting this as a publicity stunt of the cheapest order. This is not a typical expectation of running for president. Yet at the time, it was a nuisance and spectacle from what Kamala Harris described to be an unserious man, capable of serious harm. As of this writing, I can think of 3. There are certainly more features of that performance. 1. It awakens. If it ever truly fell into slumber, it certainly continued as a nightmare. The concept in the American electorate that there is an otherness that does not belong, an infection of deceitful blackness. E.g., Reagan's fictitious and seducing villainess, the welfare queen. It continues to exist within the individual and collective psyche as a silent and invisible distortion. An error, usable in navigating the social and political environment, similar in function to the concept of sunrise and sunset, an everyday observed occurrence that, nonetheless, has never once actually taken place. 2. It forces, as all of his performances do, they are his defining feature, a humiliation of the target. In this case, Obama does provide the document. He is forced to show his papers to the white man demanding them. This is a dominance, submission ritual, as Trump did to the Republicans, who are now perpetually damp from chronic submissive urination. 3. The circuit is completed. This is the harvest of his disarmingly low-brow theatre. And from it, another seed germinates years later, when, in a disturbing break from American tradition, the American narrative, Trump does not provide his papers, his tax statements. He becomes exceptional. He gets away with it. Trump, malignantly corrupt, plants seeds quietly, hidden in nonsense babble, disarmed by mockery. Guilty, I've done this a lot. And I'm very funny, admit it. And when I do that, when we have done that, we are only trivializing our own voices and reducing our outrage to comedic call and response, participating in the grooming by speaking the language of the absurd, chanting back to him his spell. Not making fun of him, making fun for him. He reaps one crop as he plants the seeds for the next harvest. The Bertha attack made you accept the idea that some people do not belong. This was the seed, and January 6th was the harvest. The election fraud lie made you accept that truth is optional. His every utterance, display, joke, executive order is testing whether you will accept that some people, those from the island of misfit toys, should not exist at all. Stimulating our fear and genuine abandonment by those who were to lead, he exploits fear of the other relative to a weaponized white evangelical base. Our black and brown brothers and sisters, our LGBTQ+ brothers and sisters and brothers, the poor weaponized against themselves, and women, always under attack. Be wary of this. History has a formula. They begin with the ones they believe society will look away from. This is not an administration that is cleaning up the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. No, these first few weeks we witness his regime of waste, of fraud, of abuse, testing the boundaries of what you will allow, teaching you, as he has others throughout his life, that his boundaries are that you are allowed none. This is the seed for next season's harvest. The least of our brothers and sisters, the ill, the needy. If we have truly been groomed, then accepting the difference of the so-called other, we have agreed in principle to the difference and division that splits our house apart. This includes our own homes. He is now looking at your children. Phase 3. Engineered collapse and domestic suppression. This is what comes after the grooming is complete, when there is no longer resistance, only compliance. Government hollowing is a key part of this phase. It weakens institutions so they cannot resist authoritarian control, making way for corporate rule and ideological enforcement. The hollowing is already well underway. Agency purges, job eliminations, funding cuts. These are not budgetary measures, they are preparatory moves. State-level takeovers intensify as Trump-loyal governors consolidate power. Where there was once oversight, there will be compliance. Where there was once a public good, there will be a corporate alternative. Privatized governance, masked as efficiency. Right-wing judges and corporate-aligned militias are stepping in to replace the dismantled infrastructure. We are being conditioned for collapse, so that when authoritarianism arrives fully, it will feel like salvation. And now, the latest executive orders. They arrive under the pretext of efficiency, of reform, of economic stability. But they are none of these things. They are extractions. They strip protections from labor, dismantle civil rights, and weaken the mechanisms of accountability. They are designed to break the state while blaming its failures on the weakest among us. They demand compliance and offer nothing in return. They demand surrender. And then there was Zelensky. A moment, a stage, an act of domestic violence televised for the world. Trump's abuse of Zelensky was not simply diplomatic cruelty. It was a public lesson in domination. It was a performance of power, the public humiliation of a man who stood for defiance. It was a lesson not just for him, but for us. We are now all witnesses. We are all bystanders in an abusive household, where the father figure terrorizes one child while the others watch. Some reveling in the violence, others shrinking in horror. Some savor it, some are shocked and repulsed, but all of us are changed by it. This is the harvest of The Apprentice. We were taught to love the spectacle of humiliation. We were trained to root for the strongman. We were groomed to either cheer for the abuser or cower in submission. And now, we are in the moment when it becomes clear that none of us will be spared. The conditioning is complete. What comes next? One more government layoffs and restructuring. 2. Escalation of failed state rhetoric, blaming government inefficiency for economic and social problems. 3. Increased calls for alternative governance, corporate-run services, private security forces, and state-aligned militias. 4. A major pretext event, false flag, terror attack, or mass civil unrest to justify emergency powers. Big question: how much more hollowing can happen before the system fully breaks? If key agencies collapse, we enter phase 4, outright authoritarian control. It will not be announced, it will simply arrive. Fully groomed, many of us will thank them, and the rest of us will just be gone.
Until next time, this is Dr. Penelope Birdfeathers.